So I was lied to as a child, as a teenager, in college, as a young adult, really my entire life. And you were too. And I don't want to live another minute without you knowing the truth, because it could literally be life-changing. Hey, howdy, hey y'all! Welcome back to my channel. My name's Jessica Stansberry, and if you're like trying to live a life that you don't need a vacation from, and you're trying to figure out how you can make more money but work less so you can live more, this is the channel for you. So, you might as well just hit the little subscribe button. Now I'm gonna share some kind of personal stories because I think it's really important for you to understand where I'm coming from and where I was and am now and where you might be and all the things. But I've had this video on my list of videos to do for a very long time. And remember in like past videos when I was talking about how doing like getting away from the 1, 2, 3, 4s or the, whatever is hard for me? Well, this video is one of those that's kind of been hard for me to film, because while I hope that the information that I'm gonna give you in this video is really life-changing and that you'll take it and run with it and do something different, and you'll understand what I mean in a minute, but while I hope that all of those things happen, there's not necessarily like oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, like this is how you do it. But stick around until the end because I am gonna give you some tips and tricks to kind of get started if you've realized the lie that you've been told and you're ready to go in a different direction. So definitely stick around until the end. Before we really even get into it and I dive deep into what I want to talk about today, let's go ahead and talk about today's sponsor, Skillshare. Now this channel is specifically built for you as someone who wants to start a business, wants to start being a content creator, wants to do the things, to get the resources you need to do the things. It's one of the reasons I chose to partner with Skillshare, because if you are looking to do hashtag all the things, if you want to learn a skill and turn it into a business, if you want to learn how to better edit videos for your own YouTube channel, this is the place to do it. Skillshare is an online learning community with literally thousands of classes for you to take anytime you want to. And one of my favorite parts is that it's curated specifically for learning. So there's no ads, there's no interruptions, and classes are added all the time. So you can literally just go in there, find the class you want to take it, remove all distractions, turn around and use the new skill you just learned, and come back later for even more classes on that subject. So earlier this year, I switched from Adobe Premiere in editing my YouTube videos to Final Cut Pro because of the fact that it works way better on my Mac. And one of the classes that I took was video editing with Final Cut Pro X from beginner to YouTuber by Ali Abdal. Now, what I think is really awesome about this class is that he is actually a YouTuber. He actually knows what edits you need to know to be a YouTuber, and then also is teaching us Final Cut. So when I was looking to transition from Premiere to Final Cut, I just logged into Skillshare and took this class and went on about my day knowing how to use this new software. The first 1,000 of you to click the link below in the description will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare so you can start exploring your creativity today. We actually need to talk about sponsors and YouTubers and all the things in another video too, because I got a lot of random feedback from y'all a few videos ago about sponsors and sponsorships, and I've been trying to dive deep into what people enjoy, what people don't enjoy, but that's a video I have coming. Today, that is not what we're talking about. What we're talking about today is the fact that you, my dear, have been lied to. But we've all been lied to. So the lie at hand here, is that we have been told that in order to be successful, in order to have the things we want, in order to do X, Y, or Z, in order to, have retirement or do this thing or send our kids to college or, whatever, that we have to go to college, get a good job, and work there for 30 years and then we can start enjoying our freedom. That's what we've been told. This has been so prominent in my life. I feel like all my life I've kind of wanted to buck against what's normal. I've always wanted to kind of go in a different path than what people thought I should go down or do a different thing. I wanted to be a photographer. Actually, I wanted to be a National Geographic photographer for my entire childhood. My grandma bought me these National Geographic postcards with the animals, and I think she bought them thinking that I love to look at the animals. But even as like a 5-year-old, I so appreciated the awesome photography, right? And she bought me like my first 8mm camera, and I loved photography from the time I was like itty bitty. And so like all the way through school, I would tell teachers, I'm gonna be a photographer. Now the type of photographer would change, like National Geographic photographer, a photographer in the Army, a photographer, blah, 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 like whatever. But I was always met with this, like, you won't make money. Okay, well, you're not gonna be able to live here in our small town because you won't make money here. The normal way to do anything is not the only option. We are taught, and I know I was specifically, so if you weren't, I guess you like, I don't know if it's where I grew up or whatever, but I think it's a very normal thing. But we are taught that we have to get the college degree, get the good job, work the 30 years, and then we can enjoy our free time. Like, that is what we're taught. And thankfully, I'm starting to see my generation, like the millennials and younger, what is that? Gen Z, start to kind of like go against this a little bit. Like, no, you know what? I want my freedom now. Like, I don't want that when I'm, 50 some years old or 60 some years old after I've worked and been miserable in a job for this long, right? But that is what we're told. We're told that this is what you do. This is what society does. If you want the good things in life, if you want the things you want, right? Like whatever that is for you. So whether that's like your dream car, your dream house, if you want to support a family, if you want to do X, Y, or Z, we are taught that we have to do it the normal way. If you want a lot of money, you need to get a job that pays a lot of money. I wanted to be a photographer, and that was honestly always kind of shut down. It was always like, you're too smart for that, or that won't provide you a good enough income, or like whatever the scenario is. That was kind of always shut down from like teachers and mentors and things like that throughout my like school age. But then, because of this like shutdown of, I want to be a photographer, but no, everybody says I can't. I started saying in like early high school that I was going to be a lawyer. I like to argue with people. I'm an Enneagram 8, which makes so much sense now. But I would be like, I like to argue with people. I'm going to be a lawyer. Like, that's what I'm going to do. And that was so heavily encouraged by my teachers and everybody else, because it was like, yes, that job pays well. Nobody ever was like, oh yeah, but you'll spend your entire career trying to pay off your student debt. It was always just, if you want nice things, if you want a nice house, a nice car, like whatever the nice is for you, right? Like whatever the thing is you want to own or buy or have or whatever, you have to get a job that pays, in society's eyes, more money, regardless of how long it takes you to get it and how much, debt you're gonna have and like all of this stuff. Future editing Jessica popping in because I don't think I mentioned something that I feel like is worth mentioning, and I couldn't publish this video without putting this in here. So I did go to college, and I don't even remotely regret that, like not even for a second. I think my college experience was transformational. I think it was very, very good for me. I don't regret going to college at all. The point I'm trying to make is that's not the only way to be successful. If you're someone who's looking at going to college, or, maybe you're a high school senior or whatever, and you're looking at like pursuing college, whatever else, just know that it's not the only option. It has its really great things and, not so great things, like the debt side of it. I just want to emphasize that it's not the only way, but it is what society says the only way is. Again, I don't regret my college degree. I'm very glad I have it. I'm very glad I went to college, but I don't use it. Like, it is not the reason I am successful. It's not the reason that I have the business I have. And so I wanted to make that clear. And I didn't want to go to school for 1,000 years. So I didn't end up going to be an attorney or a lawyer or whatever else, that I could have been. And I didn't particularly have a passion for it. It was more so like, well, it can make me the money I want to make, right? But the lie really comes down to the fact that you have to do this very normal thing that we're telling you have to do in order to have the things you want. If you want retirement and benefits and insurance, you have to go get that job. Who cares if you're miserable? So what? So is everybody else at work, I heard that a lot growing up. Like, well, work isn't meant to be enjoyed, or like, yeah, everybody hates their job, And it really like bothered me. Like, really? I have to sit around for that many years and hate my job. That just seems so insane. And once I got into corporate and I literally did hate my job, it didn't even seem like an option. I was like, I don't know how people do this. I don't know how people do this, and I'm not going to do it. Because the life I'm living during this time where I hate my job is, not a fun one. Just to get a little bit of retirement at the end of 30 years and be able to then enjoy my life, like, it just didn't make a lot of sense to me. And I'm here to tell you that if you want insurance, if you want retirement, if you want anything that's kind of been touted as that like thing to go after, you can do all of that as a self-employed person. You can contribute to retirement funds. You can have other retirement plans like real estate investing. You can do other things to make sure you are set after your working years. You can have insurance while you are self-employed. You just have to pay for it out of pocket. And if you're making more money, what does that matter? You can likely make more money and definitely have more freedom and love your job and your life more in the moment as someone who's self-employed than you can working in corporate. Now, I'm not saying this is right for everybody. I'm not saying that everybody should quit their jobs and be an entrepreneur, because we're all different. We all have different personalities. We all have different needs and wants. And if you are in a job that treats you well and you love it and all the things, that's worth a lot. And honestly, you'd probably have to get to a point where you hated it before you were like, yeah, I want to start my own business, because it's not like starting your own business is all puppies and rainbows, it's got its own set of challenges and its own things. But if you were told, like I was, that you have to go down this certain path to be successful, to have X, Y, or Z, to do this thing, I can promise you that that was a complete lie. A complete lie. I am making more money, a lot more money, than I could make at any company within driving distance of me, with my degree, my experience, whatever. Way more money, right? And not only that, but because I'm making more money, I can then afford to buy my own insurance and contribute to retirement funds and do the things that are gonna set up myself and my family for us in years to come, but also even my kids for legacy wealth and things that I'm working on to be able to hopefully help them out in the future. And I am able to do so much more of that because I'm an entrepreneur. The house I'm sitting in, I would have not been able to build and buy the land it sits on if I wasn't an entrepreneur. I can promise you that. Because the company I was in and the position I was in was not one that would have ever gotten me the amount of income I needed to be able to do this thing. So if you're watching this and you're like, I really don't like my job. I really don't like the thoughts of having to stay in a job, even if it's not the same job, a job for, however many years, to then be able to live my life later, right? Or you're even just kind of like, you know what? I see the potential in being an entrepreneur, in running a business, in doing the things. This is your permission slip that you absolutely can do that. That you have been lied to. You have spent your entire life probably being lied to. I know I was. And still to this day, there'll be conversations where it's just like, well, you won't have retirement. And it was ingrained in the generations before me, and I know that. And I know that it's very hard for our parents or our aunts or our uncles or our teachers or whatever to think that it might be better to be self-employed. I know for me personally, it was never an option. It was never presented to me as an option to be an entrepreneur. It's not like anybody ever was like, you should work for yourself. You'll make more money. Never. I was always taught that I go to college, I get the corporate job, I stay there for 30 years, blah, blah, blah. That was what I was taught. And it's just not true. If you are watching this because, again, you are maybe not super happy with your job, or you're just starting to see that you might want to be your own boss or whatever, but you are like, I get what you're saying, Jessica. I get it. But I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't have a skill. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know how to start a business, all whatever. First of all, there's a lot of videos on my channel that are going to help you start a business, do whatever. But if you truly don't feel like you have a skill to offer someone or to start a business with, go learn a skill. Web design, graphic design, copywriting, video editing, anything kind of in that arena can easily be learned and then marketed. And again, going back to today's sponsor, Skillshare, like it's at our fingertips in this, age that we live in. We can easily learn the things we need to learn to get the skills we need to start the businesses we want to start. And it might be that you start the business while you're in corporate or while you're in your job, and then you gradually transition out. But if you are like me and you were taught that that's the only way to be successful, that that's the only way to do it, that that's the only way to live life, I am here telling you that that is a complete lie. And if you want to do something else, again, it's not for everybody. I don't mean like everybody should go be self-employed, because I don't think that's true. But if you are feeling that like tug in your heart where you're like, I want to do something different. I want to do more. I want to do, something more along the lines of like what my passions are. And I want to ditch corporate and do my own thing. I'm here telling you today that that was a lie, that you absolutely can be successful, have retirement, have insurance, have the things you want, make more money, all of this stuff as a self-employed person. And so if you needed a permission slip signed, like, there you go. I signed it. Do it. Do the thing. Because we only get one life, right? Like, there's a reason I have that tattooed on my arm. Like, we only get one life. We only get one life. Some of the most common things that people regret at the end of their life, like based on a crap ton of studies, are like living their life to the expectation of other people and not themselves, working too hard, working their lives away, and not taking the risk, whatever that was. And I understand, I get it. Taking risks is scary. I get it. It really is. Deciding to start the YouTube channel, deciding to start the podcast, deciding to start the business, deciding to, start the Etsy shop or whatever, it's risky and it's scary. But if you truly want to do it, you can do it. You don't have to house that as a regret later in life. We have one life and we have to be in charge of what we do with that, not other people. So thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Thank you again to today's sponsor, Skillshare. And remember that the first 1,000 of you to click the link below will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. And thank you to you for being awesome. I've really kind of shifted my content here lately and have done more personal or vulnerable videos. And I'm really appreciative of the conversations that have been happening in the comments and for you guys watching the videos and sharing them and everything else. And if you are someone, you right there, are someone who has already taken the risk, you know that you were lied to, you know that you're ready to do something different, but maybe you have a friend or a family member that you feel like needs to hear this message, make sure to share this video with them. And I'd love for us to chat it out in the comments below. If you have any fears around this or, questions or whatever, I'll be down there for the first 30 minutes after this video goes live. Bye, y'all.